let's fight truth decay. That's the slogan for our HTL episode of Talk News TV. And this second part for this episode is about a major event in the southern Philippines and involves the entire nation. And our nation's claim to the island of North Borneo, not just Sabah, but North Borneo. I remember when I was a kid, that was part of our education, North Borneo. Well, we have invited a very difficult personality to bring to our show because he's very busy, Mr. Al Marim Senti Tila. We usually call him Al Tila, so the full name takes a bit of explaining. Now, there is a new Sultan of Sulu. What is he like? What are his policies? What are the directions? What are the fears the Sulu community in the country have with regards to foreign policy, claim to Sabah and North Borneo? So we have Al Tila, who is a policy advisor, and Wazir, which he will explain a bit later, to the new Sultan of Sulu. How do I call him? Sultan Ismail Kiram II. Okay, Al, take it away.
Thank you, Mentong, for this invitation. It's about time that we came back after the Sabah episode. The Sultan of Sulu now is Ismail Kiram II. He succeeded his brother, the late Jamalur Kiram III. And with this new Sultan ascending to the throne, it is his policy to pursue the Sabah claim along peaceful diplomatic initiatives and as soon as practicable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and if you have any questions, Ferdy, you go ahead. I know you have particular legal issues to raise.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to remind everybody, especially the televiewers, that on December 18, 1939, there was this decision of the British High Court of North Borneo, penned by British Chief Justice C.F.C. McCaskey. And he ruled that the heirs of the Sultan of Sulu were legally entitled to payments from the British North Borneo Company, and that, as an obiter dictum or side note to this decision, and I will quote, "The Philippine government is the successor in sovereignty of the Sultan of Sulu." And our very own Supreme Court on July 16, 2011, said that the petitioners claim that RA 5446 regarding the Philippine claim over North Borneo has been repealed. The Supreme Court said that the RA 9522 did not repeal RA 5446, particularly sections 2 thereof, wherein it is stated that the territory, referring to Sabah, is a territory over which the Republic of the Philippines has acquired dominion and sovereignty.
Okay.
So the President right now is duty-bound to implement this Supreme Court decision and Republic Act, which has not been repealed, because he swore an oath to the Filipino people that he will implement all our laws, and Supreme Court decisions form part of the law of the land.
Okay.
But we heard that he's even trying to establish a consulate.
Yes,
Is that right?
I wanted to go ahead of the other questions and proceed to this to make sure that Al will have the time to explain this fear as policy advisor and Wazir, this fear that there may be preemption and legal estoppel if certain acts of this government today are not averted. Al, please.
First of all, Mentong, I just came from Zamboanga City. I've been around Mindanao, and so I saw the plight of our people there, more than 80 have died in the evacuation center.
80.
In the evacuation, not because of the fighting or
Not because of the fighting,
burning or flood, but at the evacuation
Ano,
centers.
disease, sickness.
Yeah, sickness. So that means the handling, management of, the centers, I think it's not very much desired how it's come
There's
because of
neglect.
neglect. So I went around and so with our brothers also in the Visayas, the Yolanda
Yes,
victims, even the United Nations was appalled by the,
Conditions.
Yeah,
conditions.
if
you know,
the
and-
government is not responsive to the Zamboanga refugees of ours, who else can we turn to? What about the senators that are involved with Mindanao, Pimentel and so on, or your old friend Nene Pimentel? Can't
Well,
they?
Nen has been involved, has been trying to do his bit, even outside of government, and of course our senators there. But you see, the magnitude of this problem needs really a national policy, a national direction.
How many
from
are
the
there now?
executive.
Are Zamboanga refugees? How many are there?
Thousands, those who are still there, but many have gone home, to their relatives and all
family.
that.
Okay.
So if you really count this up, dami talaga.
So
Okay.
it's the same as the Yolanda victims.
Or worse, this
There's
is worse.
Neglect.
Yeah, this is worse because first there was that firefight,
That's
then
right.
the flood, and I visited many of the evacuation centers. My heart bled, Mentong, to say the least, and I have my own blood relatives
Yes,
in the
yes,
centers.
yeah.
One family from Tawi-Tawi, they've been there for 4 decades, and 5 from Sulu. These are my mother and my father's sides, blood relatives, and I visited with them, and I
Okay.
saw the plight and the way they have been housed and have been given this food ration. Is one
Okay.
thing, very
But
much one.
So-
they try to keep it simple. They try to focus on the role of Enrile in supplying the arms to the MNLF to foment what
Alleged.
happened in Zamboanga, allegedly to deflect
Divert.
from from the pork barrel. But this is more than that, Mr. Tila. I'm sure you know that
Yes.
Norm Miswari was forced to do that because the government has been ignoring the legitimate cries of the people of Sulu.
So let's go back to the concerns. No?
Yes, outside of the suffering that our people are having, Mentong, what hurt much more than this is at the height of all these problems we have, our people facing, there is this seemingly willful, deliberate undermining of the Sabah claim. And the Trimedia had this out after the visit of the President, Kuala Lumpur.
Okay, yeah.
And according to media, there's now this plan to put up a consulate in Sabah. If you do that, you are in effect saying that Sabah belongs to Malaysia. So what happens now to the claim of the Filipino citizens? The heirs, by
That's
the way,
right,
are
yeah.
Filipino citizens.
Yes.
They are not foreigners. What now happens to the claim?
Yeah.
And even the Senate doesn't know about this. And this we are following through step by step, and we are very vigilant on this. And I think, I don't know what crime can be committed by a government or an political administration that will, sort of demean or even degrade the claim.
Do you believe
Sabah.
that there is a sellout? Because I understand that the president went there to inaugurate a Petron business in Malaysia, and they also have this ExxonMobil tie-up with San Miguel Corporation, which includes 88,000 barrels per day in the Port Dickson refinery and 7 fuel distribution terminals and about 560 refilling stations. Do you think that the president has sold out our country in favor of business deals? Is that fair to say?
Well, we'll have to find out, when more developments will come into play. Now, what I have with me, Mentong, I was sorting out my books, documents after a long, long while, about 50 boxes and all that, no? And providentially, I stumbled on this document, which I was looking for a long, long time. And I want to share this with our people, not just the Muslims, the Tausug, our Christian brothers, because after all, the Sultanate of Sulu has made it very clear that Sabah is the property of the Filipino people, not just of the Heirs or the Tausugs or the Muslims of Mindanao. And I want this focus, if we can have a focus on this.
Focus natin dito.
This
I'll hold it so
Okay.
that you're free to
Yeah.
look at,
Yeah.
ito na lang gamitin natin.
This is the historical notes on the Philippine claim to North Borneo. In 1967, the Philippine government, under President Macapagal, then President Marcos, pursued this, defined many of these areas, and legal luminaries, headed by Jovi Salonga, Arturo Tolentino, Raul Manglapus, Emmanuel Pelaez, were in this, group that facilitated even the supposed to be filing of the case before the International Court. And this has with it the disputed territory, the Sulu Sultanate institution, relations of the Sultan of Sulu with foreign powers, the British North Borneo Company, the transfer of the North Borneo territory from the company to the British Crown, and the transfer of the North Borneo territory from the British Crown to Malaysia. It is all in this document, and it just shows beyond reasonable doubt that according to our own government,
This is 1967.
1967, according to our own government, that in this document, the first official exposition of facts and events was relevant to the controversy over North Borneo. And of course, the earlier attitude of the British government was one of calculated indifference and studied avoidance. But international law has it that the rule accepted that the transferee, which is Malaysia, could not acquire more rights than those processed by the transferor, which is United Kingdom. And in 1962, no less than the director, Mentong, of Information of Services of the Federation of Malaya then declared that Malaya had adopted the right attitude in assuming Sabah had been leased by the heirs of the Sultan of Sulu for an annual payment of $5,000. And this is very important because in 1962, no less than the Prime Minister of the Federation of Malaya quoted that the British government was still paying 5,000 Malayan dollars
These
a year.
This is in a document.
In the document,
It's
here
in
in
a
this document, I'm just excerpting this so that for the easy, understanding of our people, and that to the heirs of the Sultan of Sulu, whose dispute over Britain's right to the territory has resulted in the Philippine government's claim, and that the Malayan government could gladly take over the lease on North Borneo if the British decide to let it go. So we're talking here of lease. Not sale. So the Philippine government legal position, Mentong, this is the most capping of this, is that the Sultan of Sulu had been a sovereign ruler even before the Europeans appeared in the Far Eastern scene. The sovereignty of the Sultan of Sulu over Sulu and North Borneo had been recognized by the United Kingdom, which is Great Britain now, evidenced by a series of treaties of friendship, commerce, trade, and alliance concluded by the United Kingdom with the Sultan of Sulu. And of course, the private individuals who had gone into this also recognize this as a lease. So with this, Mentong, the contract of 1878 was one of lease and not transfer of sovereignty or ownership.
Okay. I think it's good to refresh the public
Yes.
with this solid legal basis for the Filipino people to continue pursuing it and express the concern that the national political leadership seems to be selling out, as you said, this very important patrimony of the nation and of the Sulu people. So, and we will have to keep refreshing the public on this. Ayaw nating makalimutan ng publiko. But, yes,
Mr.
Ferdy.
Aquila, I'd like to ask this question. First of all, the President, despite of the Supreme Court decision, which I cited, and the Republic Act, which specifically says that our country has acquired dominion and sovereignty over Sabah, has not lifted a finger. He said that he will refer it to a study group led by Secretary De Lima. My question is, have you been consulted by this so-called study group? And is the President really, does he have the the leeway to still study a Supreme Court decision that is already final and executory, and a Republic Act that is not that has not been repealed?
There has been no consultation whatsoever from day one. As a matter of fact, at the height of the conflict, if you remember, flashback, Mentong, our Sultan of Sulu, the late Sultan Jamalul Kram, was even threatened arrest.
That's right, yeah.
And Filipinos, Muslims, Tausugs, who went to visit their dominion, where the firefight started, was not even given protection by our own government.
So what is your feeling now and the feeling of the new Sultan about this situation? You have announced a policy of peaceful
Yes.
pursuit of the issue. And are you going to court? Are we going to make a show of popular demonstration of call or demands from the government, Al?
Well, we actually have a number of options, Mentong. Firstly, we want to appeal to our government, our own government, to help us, because we are citizens of this country, to pursue what is now North Borneo, the term is Sabah, for and behalf of the Filipino people, not only of the heirs.
Let me clarify. Sabah is North Borneo.
North Borneo.
North Borneo is Sabah.
Yes.
It's just, okay,
yes,
one and the
yes.
same. Okay.
So, first, the appeal to our own government as citizens of this country.
Yeah.
And second, we also want to appeal to our brothers, Muslim brothers in Malaysia, the Malaysian government. Because, in Islam, in Muslim, is a brother to another
But
Muslim.
how much of the Malaysian government it now represents the business interest rather than the Malaysian people themselves and the fraternal ties of the Malaysians and Filipinos?
Yes, but we are governed by the Quran, the tenets of
Islamic
Islam,
Ummah.
and all that. We belong to the Ummah, the
Yeah, yeah.
greater, population of
Yeah.
the Muslim world, no? And we want to appeal to them.
Okay.
They have been utilizing this property for decades,
yeah,
if not
okay.
centuries. So, ibalik na lang sa amin yan.
Okay.
No?
So,
and finally,
yeah.
we have the Organization of Islamic Conference,
yeah.
where we are a member based
Yes,
on the Bangsamoro representation, as represented by the Moro National Liberation
Okay,
Front
yes.
in observer status.
Okay,
It's
so-
57 members.
so I
and
have to-
finally, we have also the United Nations, which may be the last final,
Yeah.
maybe arbiter of
And
We have our last few minutes. Go ahead, Herdy.
Is the Sultanate represented in the Bangsamoro Framework Agreement talks that they will amend the Constitution to suit the Constitution with the agreement rather than the agreement conforming with the Constitution?
we have not been consulted
Again,
even from day
again.
one. And that's why I don't know how this framework will play ultimately.
Okay.
Because you cover the Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, island provinces where the Sultanate, reigns over, including Palawan and Zamboanga.
Again, no consultation,
No consultation.
So,
arbitrary,
And the Speaker said that there will be an amendment to the economic provisions of the Constitution, and this will affect Sabah and the proprietary rights of the Sultan of Sulu. Have you been consulted in the committee hearings of the Committee on Constitutional Amendments in the House?
No, we have not been consulted.
Again, no consultation. Now, we're in the last few minutes. I would like to go back to the Sultan Ismail Kiram II. So what is he like? What's his age now, if that's open to the public?
He's a senior citizen now.
Okay. Like me and you.
He has been a teacher, so he's
teacher.
more moderated and very civil and diplomatic
And,
in his ways.
His
and,
political history,
work.
how is it? Has he been involved in government?
Well, he has been involved with the Sultanate from day
Sultanate,
one, because even the time of the two sultans.
How many
before him,
children does he have? I know I'm very fast because
he
you
had-
have to
he had
compress.
some children, but I think with the second wife now, he doesn't have yet.
Okay.
Because he
yeah.
was widowed for some time. But going back to track, Mentong, I want to make this appeal to our people, the Filipino people. I want to address this beyond this political administration. Itong claim ng Sabah, sa atin ito, mga Pilipinos. And repeatedly, no less than the late Sultan Jamalul Kiram, and followed now by his younger brother, has made this very clear in many fora, in many interviews, that the North Borneo the claim is for and in behalf of the Filipino people. And all of us, citizens of this country, must come together and work together to address this issue so that in God's good time, Allah's good time, we may be able to get this during our generation back so that it can help our people and our country.
I'd
Yeah,
like to go
really.
back to Chacha, no? Because they claim that we need Chacha so that foreign investments can come in. But if we just pursue this claim, Sabah is earning billions of dollars every month, or probably billions of dollars every day out of the oil and the other riches of Sabah. So we don't have to have Chacha, we just have to pursue this claim. But the government, why is it that the government is not doing anything?
Aside from the fact that some of the biggest Filipino banks, in particular BDO, said, we do not lack capital.
Yes.
Ano?
What is important here, Mentong, if I may,
Yes,
in
yes.
terms
This
of
is the last
of the Sabah
stretch,
issue,
yeah.
no? This claim we are having on Spratly,
That's right.
Scarborough, and all
That's
that, is by discovery. Ito sa atin talaga ito.
By legal right.
By legal
historic
historic
title.
And
right.
historic right.
Given as a reward to the king or the Sultan of Sulu by the Sultan of Brunei after helping them. And it was with us since day one. And this company only listed. And in all the documents, there is no statement, even one word of the word sale.
Okay.
It's always leased.
Okay.
And
By
a
the way,
lease is a lease in whatever definition you may have.
There's a fear that with Chacha, they will delete or make it constitutional, quote unquote, the dropping of the claim. So there is really a
As
danger.
Cory's constitutional commission erased the line about the historic rights.
The other territories belonging to the Philippines by historic right or
By
legal
historic
title,
right.
it was deleted. But now they will
Still there.
go more than that and totally
Okay.
drop the claim.
We have no more time. We'll invite Al again and maybe tell the new Sultan our station is open to
Thank you
to
very
him
much.
for any message he'd like to
Thank
bring
you. We
or maybe
appreciate
his own presence.
We appreciate
Maraming
it.
salamat. Welcome
Thank
again.
you. Okay, thank you.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Have a good weekend and keep studying our history and pushing the enlightenment of our nation. Thank you very much.